Is it the end of time? Is it the end of time as we know it? Hello, y'all. I'm Dianna Brianne. Is it the end of time as we know it? So there is so much talk about the end of time. The book of Revelation, and people are discussing it. Well, first of all, I don't give information. I don't give recommendations. I don't give suggestion. I don't give advice. I just share with you my perspective on different topics, as is with this one. Also, I hope you like, share, subscribe to all 5 of my channels. Links are pinned at the top of the comment section below. If you connect with me with all 5, I will likely connect with you with all 5. So I got to thinking today, with everything that's going on in the world and everything that is going on in the news. And so many people are saying, this is the end of time. We're living in the end times. This is about the book of Revelation. They talk about the mark of the beast and everything. So I'll give you my perspective and my thoughts on all of this, okay? And like I said, I don't tell people that this is the way it is. I'm just sharing with you my feelings, my personal feelings. Your feelings may be totally different, okay? And, you know, there is a lot going on in the news. Now, I don't want to go into detail what's going on in the news, but y'all know what's going on. So much is going on, and we have to really be thoughtful and mindful what we talk about here on social media and in the way that we talk about it, okay? And so I'll be very mindful, and maybe you can read between the lines, so to speak, of what I'm saying. And, you know, I think that the world is a very chaotic place right now, but then it's always been chaotic. And it's just that we're connected in a way that we were never connected before, through the internet. So we can see what's going on in the other side of the world, whereas 100 years ago, we didn't have a clue what was going on in the other side of the world. 500 years ago, we most certainly didn't have a clue. And so news traveled very, very slow. It could take years before we heard what happened on the other side of the world. You know, this is 100 years ago or 200 years ago. And so news travels in seconds here. We are inundated with so much information. And I think so often people are so overloaded with information. But we are connected in ways that we were never connected before. There's also circumstances and situations in the world that never really existed up until now. So times have changed, and yet in some ways it's just that it's magnified with our ability to see so much information. I heard something about that the information that we get is thousands of times greater we get in one day than what people in the 1400s got in their entire lifetime. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard, okay? And it probably is true. And so with everything that's going on in the world, I don't know what to really say. I believe, you know, I grew up with the Bible, and I grew up with the book of Revelation, and I know what Revelation talks about, the mark of the beast, and you know, all of that. And, you know, people today are talking about, you know, the possibility of being chipped, you know, whatever they call chipped, you know, where you have an imprint or something on your hand. And I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know what's going to really happen in our world. I know it's very chaotic, and there's a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot of instability in some ways and in many aspects. And I think people are not feeling certain right now. And in times of certainty, people can become fearful. And I think that it's not good to live in fear, because people who are of faith always know that God is the one ultimately in control. And so even though we need to be mindful of current events and what's going on, we don't need to be fearful when we know and believe that God is in control. We need to make smart decisions. We need to stay alert. And I believe, you hear a lot about people preparing in many ways. The homesteaders are preparing with a lot of food and food pantry. But you know what? That's not really unusual, because my grandma had a food pantry, a food cellar. She had a food cellar, and she probably always had enough food supply for a year, and back in her day. And so that's not really an unusual thing. I think it's a smart thing, I think, to have a food cellar. I really, really do. Having a food cellar, having having supplies on hand that you absolutely would need if you were in short supply, whether it's a snowstorm that comes or any other kind of world event. Yes, it does seem like there's a lot of very unpredictable events right now taking place in the world. And I can see why people do get scared and apprehensive. And, the fear of, do they have to have something put on their hand, so to speak. And, I too would be very concerned about that if that were to take hold. But, a lot of things we have to remember are out there on the internet that may or may not be true. I listen because it could be true, but I also keep in mind that it may not happen that way. And so we have to kind of live in the not knowing, the uncertainty. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't really always know. So what are my thoughts? Are we living in the end times? Honestly, I really don't know, because growing up, we were living in the end times back then, and so are we really living in the end times? Well, we have a lot of really crazy events going on in the world that could make us believe that we are. Do I think that we are? I have no idea. Only God knows that. I have no idea. But people ask me a lot this question, and I've kind of been evasive. I've kind of avoided it simply because I don't know. I don't know. And I think sometimes the best answer is to say, I don't know. I don't know. And I think a lot of times people try to predict the future, even if it's wrong. They want to predict the future because it makes them feel secure. They have something to go on. And I would rather say, I don't know, and I don't know what the future holds, rather than to say, yes, 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 I know, and then I'm wrong. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? I put my faith in God that whatever I have to go through in life, even if it were the end times, I can make it through because my faith is in God. And so I don't put my faith in a person or in a situation or in a political party. I put it in God. I make right decisions. I stay informed, and I do the very, very best I can. But I keep my faith in God. So in answer to your question, I don't wrap my mind around a lot around, is it the last days? I just try to make right decisions based upon what I believe to be right for my life and for my faith. And so I think everyone's an individual and everyone sees things differently. And so how I see things may be very, very different than how someone else sees things. So my perspective is to simply say, I don't know. I don't know. And I do know the book of Revelation. I have studied the Bible. I've listened to Bible scholars. I've heard a lot of different viewpoints. And I try to stay well balanced in my perspective. And yes, things are chaotic. I won't deny that. Things are more chaotic than I have ever seen in my life, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the end times. It could be, but I'm not saying that it necessarily is. I think according to the book of Revelation, there's a lot of signs that need to be fulfilled. Some, according to people, according to scholars I've listened to, have already been fulfilled. Some people say we are living in those last periods of time. Maybe they know, a lot more than I do because I'm not a Bible scholar. I have read the Bible, I understand it, but I'm not a scholar with it. And so, some of the Bible scholars are saying, yes, it is the end of time. And I can see what they're saying, and I can see it has great merit. Other people say, no, this is just a blip on the screen. And I can hear that too. So everyone has to make their own decision. I know I have my perspective, my deeper perspective, and I'm not really going to share that because I don't want someone else to go according to what I think. But the world is a chaotic place right now, and I will admit that. I will say that. And but I keep my eyes on God, and only God knows, the timing of anything in the universe. The universe is big, it's huge. And God goes beyond the universe, in my opinion. He goes beyond everything. And so I don't worry about it. God is much bigger than all of us. And so God has everything in control. Okay, from my house to yours, may God bless you. I do hope you like, share, subscribe to all 5 of my channels. My main channel is the 15K channel, Dianna Brianne Fairchild. Okay, may God bless you, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye. Porch, a place to relax and a place to enjoy. Grandma's Porch.